know you're there. I see you through the screen. That's fine. You don't have to say anything. It's been so long since I've had anyone to talk to, so I don't mind doing all the talking. I'm sure you're curious about me. Well, I have always been a leap before you look kinda ghoul, and up until now, it had always worked out just fine. But I suppose it was bound to bite me in the ass eventually. Let me tell you a little story. My alarm went off like any other day. I popped that smelly little goblin in his screeching face. These guys don't come with snooze buttons, and if I didn't get up, he'd start biting at my flesh. So I rolled out of bed, and my alarm goblin scurried out of the room, my tentacles squished onto the warm floor beneath them. The Lord had given me the day off, so I figured I would see what trouble I could get myself into. Maybe I'd torment the realm with all the smushy humans. That was one of my favorite hobbies. I checked the mirror before I left, and my hair looked as if it had been brushed. I figured it must be sleeping, so I ran my hands through it to wake it up. It all started wriggling weightlessly, almost as if underwater. "If I'm up, so are you," I whispered as I grabbed my purse and headed out the door. I entered the room of portals. There were a few creatures blabbing, trying to figure out where they wanted to go. Their slimy voices bouncing off the walls and echoing in my ears. These guys were giving me a headache. I couldn't even think, so I just picked a random portal and went. My eyes quickly searched the room, and, well, green glowing portal it is. They noticed me just as I was about to step through and waved obnoxiously, so I flipped them off. Green gel grabbed my physical form. I closed my eyes and allowed them to swallow me whole. I could feel my body break down into liquid, and for a few moments I was nothing more than this wet nothingness. I was one with the portal. I felt at peace until my essence was shot at warp speed right through to the other side. My body reassembled and spewed out onto the hard ground. What a horrible way to travel, I thought as I stood up. I had no idea where I had landed. The air was thick and damp, almost tangible. My eyes started to adjust to the dimly lit room as I rose to my tentacles. There were shelves of books that reached all the way to the ceiling with tiny rays of light coming through the only window. The small amount of light was highlighting the dust as it danced around me. The situation felt off, but I continued exploring. I wished I could have seen more. It was very difficult to maneuver this small space with all these scattered items all over the floor. As I cautiously stepped over and around things, I used my hands to guide me. Normally, I could see very well in the dark, but that place could barely see a thing. I placed my hand on the end of the bookshelf and looked around the corner where I saw a little table with a few candles, and it wasn't until I got closer that I could make out the items on it. There was an odd-looking phone that suddenly rang, and I practically jumped out of my scaly skin. I answered it. "Hello?" There was nothing but static, so I hung it up. But again, it rang. "Hello?" This time I heard a faint laugh through the static, and before I could hang up, I was pulled into the phone through the earpiece. It was so painful. Things went dark, and I lost consciousness. This is where I awoke. Well, that's my tale. It's been so very long, and until now I thought I would never leave. Thank you for releasing me. I do have some bad news, though. In order for me to leave, you will be taking my place. Maybe next time you'll think before answering a strange phone.